just stay closed.
Mm. Yeah. No, well, New South Wales has just finally shut its southern border with Victoria last night. Queensland refused to open their borders, which, good on them. Everyone was having a cry about, but Queensland needs to open their borders. I'm like, no, fucking don't do it. And when their state premier was like, nah, we're not opening our borders. We don't give a shit what you think. I'm like, good girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Gladys Berejiklian, the fucking crooked old bloody witch who likes to siphon funds out of emergency services, at the height of a 10-year friggin' drought, when like the place is a friggin' tinderbox, just so she can play with her toy train set in Sydney that's like grossly over budget and ridiculously over friggin' what's it, schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the fucking nerve too, just after the fires went out, right? And they had the friggin' nerve to get on the news and say, oh, yeah, we've just done more estimates on this Sydney Light Rail project. And, well, you see, with inflation and, product costs and all this, yeah, we're expecting it to go up another $1 billion. Like, it went up like almost a full 100% chunk of its original price. And it's still not fucking nowhere near finished yet. Like, what the... And, like, no one's kicking up a big stink about that. And sort of my criticism, the only criticism about shutting the New South Wales borders is the crooked nose cunt should have done it fucking a week ago.
Well, you and I talked about this on a couple different streams. That was the biggest issue. This is what needs to be done. Stay home, wear masks, stay clean, stay safe. And everybody should have had to do that. And then, maybe we would have been done with this. But here we are 5 months later with more people being infected, the same old shit, different day, way less people dying. Granted, like we talked about, I've said the model that they used based off the information from China was wrong. So, of course, that's what's going to happen. Your model's off. Data was bad. So you plan for the worst. But here we are 5 months later, still dealing with the same shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And new cases after quarantine,
But it even goes to like we were talking about with the gloves. You would need to wear multiple pairs of gloves. When I went to vote, and granted, it was the bullshit vote. It was the, Democrat, Republican, whatever. Go through, pick who you wanted to. Walk in, can't see shit. Got to wait for my eyes to adjust. Finally do. Take me over to a table. Lady's sitting there with gloves on. I hand her what I thought was my license, but it wasn't. It was actually my card passport. And she's like, oh, I've never seen one of these. And it didn't click what she said right away. And she's typing in and whatnot. And I'm like, you ain't never seen a fucking driver's license before? I'm like, am I that old? Wait a minute, what? Well, handed her the wrong card, gave her my license. And of course, she gives me everything back, put it in my wallet. Gave me a Q-tip to vote, to touch the vote on the screen and whatnot. Okay, cool, whatever, Q-tip. But I'm laughing because the next person that goes over there, he hands her his license, and she's still got the same pairs of gloves on that she's probably been wearing all day since they got there at 8 a.m., not changing gloves. And I'm like, yeah, that's really not going to work. What if I were to coughed on my hand, pulled out my license and handed it to you? Then every license you've touched after that's going to have my cough germs on it. Congratulations.
Yeah, fucking. This is kind of. I'm having a little fun with this, I must admit, because we've got a financial institution out here called the Commonwealth Bank, and it's really funny because apparently there's no excuse to abuse bank tellers and things like that, because it's not like they didn't just lose a royal inquiry about ripping off old people's retirement funds and stuff like that. So they're basically just about the same moral character as a junkie who fucking knocks a little old lady over for the 50 cents left out of her pension in her purse and cracks her fucking skull open on the fucking sidewalk, right? They think that they're above being abused, and that notion alone is fucking insulting to the point where I should start being violent. But they they kind of also have this attitude of their shit doesn't stink. So, like, you know, you're there with them for 10 years. And oh, how do you like your service? And that's where you love to just fucking butt fuck their soul by just giving them a 40-minute tirade of every last little thing they've done as a fuck up since you first started with them. And after you've completely crushed their soul, you just basically go, so what do you think I think of you, you piece of shit fucking. And then as for this fucking sign at the end of your counter, and then you say that after all of this shit, and you'd expect not to be abused. And then they turn around and they have this, you know, their stock standard line, which is, oh, but you need to understand, we're just employees. Oh, yeah, I'm that kind of monster that fucking really likes being cruel to pathetic creatures. Like, the more you try and be the pathetic little peasant, the harder I'm going to go on you. And so to that statement, I now have my stock standard comeback, which is, yes, that may be the case. And the accountant at Auschwitz might not have slung a can of Zyklon B, but the cunt was still a fucking Nazi. They really don't like that.
No, of course not.
But yeah, no, it's funny because like I still have to fucking I've left their institute because they didn't bother replacing a debit card, and it was literally like I wasn't having the best of mornings, and I couldn't pay for a cup of coffee until 9:30 until they opened, and I was expecting a delay with it, and I was almost going to go thermal nuclear when I found out exactly how long the fucking delay was. I thought it was only going to be like a fortnight. Oh, 6 to 8 weeks. I'm like, wrong answer. Empty my account. Shut it down now. Oh, why? What's the problem? Fucking, yeah, full broadside and fired for effect. It really makes them hurry the fuck up when you're just giving them like a, you know, a non-insulting sort of berating, like, you know, this is how much of a clusterfuck you are, darling. But so every now and then I still got to go in. My brother's still with them, and he's a useless prick that needs money every now and then. So there's a branch up in Port Macquarie, and they don't have typical bank counters like everywhere else. They've got these sort of like open kiosk kind of things where you can literally just walk around behind the counter and just corner them like within 2 paces. And these kiosk cubicle kind of things, they're separated with a partition. There's a machine in the middle of this partition that spits out the money, and it's supposed to operate 2 of these kiosks and stuff. And they've got the floors taped off, and there's a greeter at the door, and it's really condescending to have one of those cunts who's so incompetent they can't be trusted to manage your financial affairs tell someone who's actually done the NBC course what to do during a biological warfare situation. It's really fucking condescending coming from them, and I really just didn't want to hear it. So you got to stand in these boxes and social distancing and all this kind of stuff. But when you get to the freaking kiosk, it's literally fucking glass house shit, like military prison shit. Stand in that box. Do not move. Do not come near me. And I'm like, fuck you, darling. Don't fucking tell me what to fucking do. So I'm deliberately sort of leaning in. I'm calling this a what's the US Navy call it? Freedom of navigation exercise. So, like, I'm handing her the piece of paper and I'm giving her a real big lean in. She's backing off into the corner. And I go to explain what I wanted her to do, and then she's interrupted and then started going off on what she thought I wanted to do and got completely wrong. And I'm just like, now she's getting a bit concerned. And like I'm like twice this woman's size, mind you. I'm fucking towering over this scrawny little thing. And so I'm really playing in on the intimidation thing. And I've stopped after she's interrupted me, and I'm like, no, can you just please listen? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, but you don't need to be like this. I'm like, for fuck's sake, woman, just be quiet. And she's like, are you all right? I'm like, No, I'm not all right. I'm depressed. I'm anxious. I'm suicidal. I don't want to be here. You people are part of the problem. I really need you to hurry this up. Now, can you please just shut the fuck up and listen? Can you please stop swearing? Listen, lady, I have a lot of mental health issues. I cannot help swearing. And if you ask me to stop swearing, I'm probably just going to go on a massive tirade. Now, can you please hurry up? Now, Miss Sheila is literally shitting herself. Her manager is now standing behind me at the corner of the room, observing me like a hawk, and I've just given him this sort of like look over my shoulder, like, son, I will turn you into a fucking splat with my farts. And like, I'm doing the full fucking lean ride in, like, fuck you and your social distancing shit. It's all completely legal. I didn't break any laws, and I made her feel really fucking uncomfortable, and I felt happy doing that because they have it fucking coming, the cunts.
Yeah.
Oppositional defiance disorder. Sorry, Philip Blair in the chat. Yeah. No, it's just me being a nasty big cunt. Mm-hmm. But, well, they shouldn't sort of work like it's the attitude that, like, they feel that it's okay to still work for a company like that only dictates that they seem to think that it's agreeable to do so. I mean, you ask them, would you work in a meth lab? And they'd say no, because it's a criminal organization. Well, why do you work for a bank?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but they're not criminals. Oh yeah, that's right. That's like fucking Sea Shepherds, not a bunch of bloody pirates and terrorists and shit like that. Because they're our terrorists and pirates.
Well, that's the thing. Oh, it's not me. It's just the evil bank that I work for. You're just as bad. At this point, just give me my shit. It's funny you mentioned that. I had paid my credit card bill, and the auto shit that comes off of it didn't go through, and I'm not understanding why, because there's plenty of money in the account. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. What the hell's going on? Well, I finally looked at my card, and it expired last month. So, on the 1st, it expired, July 1st. So I try to make a phone call, and here in the U.S., it's a bigger bank, Chase, JP Morgan Chase. So I call these fuckwads and, like, waiting, finally get a Sheila on the line. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm just calling because my card's expired and I need a new one. And, I don't know why the fuck I don't have a card. Usually I get one, 3-4 months before the damn thing expires. She takes my information and whatnot, and then she's like, well, we have to verify you for security with, blah, blah, blah. 45 minutes later, there's still nobody on the fucking line to talk to because, apparently only one person works during the week on this fucking line. So I hang up, call back, do the automated system bullshit, ask for a new card, and it's the same shit you're saying, 7 to 10 business days. So you want me to pay my credit card statement, but I can't spend the money that's on it because I don't have a card. Fuck you. So we'll see how long it takes. I'll make sure that once I get it, I'll send you a DM and say, hey, I finally got the card. I'm betting it's going to be every bit of 2 weeks, without a doubt.
Well, just to give you another idea about how bad the Commonwealth is that a few years ago there was this little refugee from Afghanistan who got screwed over by the Commonwealth Bank to the stage. He got so pissed off he threw a Molotov cocktail through their front door, or through one of the branches, and like. I agree with that so much. If I had the money at the time, I would have gone down to Victoria and paid for this dude's legal expenses.
Yeah. I see it though. I mean, you see it more and more too. It's like, good God, quit messing with people.
And it's not just the Commonwealth. I mean, like, yeah, okay, all banks are the same and all this kind of shit. My mate owns a tobacconist in the main town, and fucking one morning I was there when he opened up and just standing there having a coffee and a cigarette before the horde starts coming in for their cigarettes, and there's this bloody prime mover sitting sort of out the front of the shop, and it's across the road from an ANZ bank, and the driver's there, and he's sort of pacing up and down. It's clearly fucking a bit irritated, and I'm like, dude, you're all right? And he's, fuck, man, don't know what to do. And I'm like, what's going on, man? He's like, fucking, oh, fucking ANZ, fucking this cunt, fucking that, and they're gonna fucking repossess me fucking truck, and the fucking bastard cunts won't fucking listen. Just like massive fucking tirade, just let him go. Fucking, he obviously needed to do it. Fucking, and then it got to the point where he's like, and if the cunts don't fucking see my way, I'm gonna fucking park me prime mover in the bank. He's threatening to run it straight through the front door. It's like, that's how bad the banks are here, where cunts are like, yeah, nah, fuck it, Grand Theft Auto, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Drive it right in. Oh, look at that. You even got a super chat.
Yeah. Thanks, Penoid. Well, thanks on Dodger's behalf. What would you like me to berate him with this time? For the $2. I'll tell him you sent it when I speak to him next.
0 people watching. This channel is popping off, which is funny because I've been watching it since the beginning. So thanks, YouTube, for saying that nobody's watching. Jeez.
It says 2 on my end.
Mm-hmm.
Might have 3 in the chat. William Stenchever and Philip Blair. Oh, and super fan Adam Shawhan, he's in the chat.
That's right. Imagine that. Yeah, I'm always in the chat.
And Jacob right up the top there. I don't know about the Astros. Why not the Manly Sea Eagles? The San Francisco 49ers, or with their old SF logo, we used to call it the Smelly Farts.
Oh, shit.
The Smelly Fart 69ers.
Mm-hmm. Smelly Fart 69ers. Oh, goodness gracious. Football. Yep. And then there's your football, which Americans call soccer.
Oh, well, sort of, because there's rugby league, which is more a traditional football kind of a thing. There's Australian Football League, which is mainly a fucking Victorian thing, so no one gives a shit about that. And then there's rugby union, which is more of a Commonwealth thing, and that's the really brutal one. Because you'll see on YouTube, there's reaction videos, and you'll see Americans reacting to AFL games and NRL games and shit like that, and some of the tackles and things look pretty nasty and stuff. We don't have helmets and shoulder pads or anything like that. But then you see the rugby, and that makes fucking the AFL and NRL look like a friggin' Disney movie.
Oh yeah, rugby, big time.
Yeah, and those cunts are a lot bigger than the NRL and AFL players too. Because the AFL players are pretty friggin' dainty compared to the NRL players, but the NRL players are small compared to the bloody union players.
Rugby, yes. Well, it's like when it goes with sports, hockey is from the time the puck drops, those mofos are on that ice nonstop, continually playing till basically, halftime and then, till the end of the game. Like it's nonstop. When you watch baseball, there's not a lot of action really going on. It's rather boring. I never understood why that was America's pastime. Made me feel like you needed to just be sitting there drinking a beer and getting fat because baseball was boring.
You wanted a version of cricket, but you weren't too cool enough for school in the Commonwealth anymore.
Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to the NFL, same thing. It takes the 2-minute warning takes 20 minutes to actually ever get done. So it's like, all right, whatever, because all the stopping and commercials and all the other shit. I mean, they play and they run into each other and all that good shit. But yeah, to me, hockey was always more of an actual physical sport that we had here in the States versus most of what, bowling, fuck off, golf, get the fuck out of here. No, hockey was always more at it. And then you go see rugby, and those are some guys that are just knocking the shit out of each other and enjoying it. So, yeah.
Well, not sure about what it's like nowadays, because it does appear that there's a shit ton of stuff that they used to teach people in school back in my day that they just simply don't bother doing now, like crossing the road.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sports and stuff like that, we used to play a version of cricket called kangaroo cricket, and it was a fucking pussified version, basically, so kids could play it. So the ball wasn't like the hard cork ball; it was like a soft rubber ball, and it was plastic cricket bats and shit like that. But yeah, it was fundamentally still cricket, which takes fucking forever to play. And I don't know whether he was trying to be funny or anything like that, but fucking the well, it wasn't just one of the teachers. It was every time, a teacher fucking used to do this. He used to say something along the lines of, "Come on, fast game's a good game," and you're like, "The fuck drugs are you on?"
And today we're playing dodgeball.
but of
Big
course,
red ball, aim for your head.
But of course, because I was a massive bastard even back then, it's like I've always been like fucking like Bullwinkle moose, fucking don't know my own strength. Fucking so like when we used to play fucking rugby league or fucking the NRL and fucking for sport in school, I always used to prefer it when it was tackle because I could keep running with about 6 or 7 kids hanging off me. And of course, no one would let me do that. So he had this fucking touch football rule where you have to fucking, fucking tap him on the fucking shoulder or something like that. So of course, that just completely ruined the game for me. So that's where I've just lost interest in sports. I was like, don't let me win with my natural abilities. You have to fucking cheat.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, back when like I was fucking heaps young, used to play soccer. I used to play soccer for a team called Uralla, and I think it was the under sixes or under sevens team that I was in. Fucking, they were that fucking bad and so fucking useless. It was not fucking funny. The closest we ever came to winning a game on that fucking season was a 0-0 draw with Balmain. Fucking, that was the closest thing. And so I got fucking bored, and it turns out because of my hyperactivity and all this kind of shit that I'm not really a team player, anyways, which is really funny because I spent 6 years in the army, which is kind of like a very big team environment. Last time I checked, and I didn't seem to go wrong there. And then there was the fire brigades, which I seem to recall they'd work in a kind of team as well. Oh shit, maybe the doctors are wrong. But I did have behaviour.
Doctors are never wrong.
But I did have behavioural issues and all this kind of stuff, and even back at that young age, I was still very tactically and strategically minded, because I'd come to the conclusions that, well, if we are to win, we're going to have to thin out the numbers, so there's less resistance against us. Let's see, this little cunt's not wearing shin pads. Boink. Oh yeah, you're not wearing shin pads either. Boop. Straight in the shins. So yeah, well, that really didn't work as a tactic. But hey, it was a solid fucking plan. It did thin out the numbers. It worked that way. Still didn't win, but I didn't account for the fact that the team was still fucking useless.
Yep, you're going to take out people, and meanwhile, the rest of the team's standing there looking at you going, no, don't do that. But I'll have to.
It's like, well, I just fucking stand there, take advantage of it. I got through all this fucking trouble so you bastards can win. Now fucking go. Fuck you, useless bastards.
Yep. Do I have to do everything on my own? And yet the answer was yes. Yes, you did.
Yeah. And that's when, like, Australia had started getting into this fucking touchy, fucking feely, bloody sensitive new age fucking bullshit thing. And I got a fucking trophy for that year. Right? No shit. It wasn't until later where I realised what the hell an encouragement award was. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay, rightio. So you get an award for fucking losing. What a jip. What's the point of even trying then?
Well, to me, an encouragement reward would be hit more people in the shins. they're encouraging you to take them out. But yeah, I know what you mean.
But I tell you what, though, fucking like as far as youth organisations and charities and things of that nature go, fucking St John's Ambulance Australia is a fucking corrupt organisation internally. I tell you, holy fucking shit, man! Like, I not as much anymore. It used to be a bit of a rock star fucking medic kind of thing back in the fucking day. And I started doing first aid when I was 8 years old through St John's Ambulance Brigades. And it's kind of like Boy Scouts, but you do medical shit instead of fucking field craft and stuff.
Right.
And so I started learning really, really fucking young. And I'm kind of like a person that if I'm in some sort of a field where it'd be a job or organization or something like that, I'll fucking learn everything, even if it's not like got nothing to fucking do with me, because there's always a circumstance where you might be the only swinging dick that knows what the fuck's going on. So, what would you rather be, the person who saves the day or the person who just stands there and go, bah? But yeah, so we'd have like regional competitions and things like that. So the Western Suburbs Combined Cadet Division had it was Burwood, Wentworthville, I think it was Westmead, and there was another place I can't remember. It was about 4 or 5 different sort of brigade kind of things in this sort of divisional thing, and it was quite funny that. As good as I was everywhere else, I couldn't seem to fucking win one of those things for the life of me, except for one time when Wentworthville didn't show up for some reason. And, isn't it funny how Wentworthville usually fucking wins? And they're not here, and I finally do. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, Wentworthville was sucking up to the higher ups and all this kind of shit. So, yeah. It's more competition, corruption than anything else. Which is kind of stupid now. You go back and think of it because it's reaffirming like incompetence and stuff like that. Because that cunt could be fucking Dr. Kevorkian in disguise or something like that, and you're going to entrust him to go out and fucking dick with people's lives and stuff like that when he's paid his way to an accreditation he fucking realistically doesn't deserve because he's that incompetent over somebody who you've just gone and you dicked with their confidence in their abilities because they were in fact fucking better than what you said they were, and now they might be second guessing themselves, which might cost a life. Congratulations. Yeah, I should stop over analyzing shit, eh?
No, not at all. You're speaking the truth. Oh wait, we're not allowed to speak the truth, only lies. That's right. Forgot.
Yeah, we're only allowed to speak lies. China is a very good place to be. They have a very kind and caring regime that has a very great big sense of humor and looks after everybody like they're their own little baby.
Mm-hmm. Just like Brie Larson is doing awesome on her YouTube channel, and she's going to do great things for YouTube and bring us all together without soy.
I know what we should do. If she ever does like unboxing things and gets a PO box for you to send shit in, we got to go chuck in for a pair of fucking bum implants.
Get her the underwear that makes it look, kind of like the Wonder Bra that made it look like you had titties till you took it off and then wonder where the tits went. She'll have a Wonder Ass.
You actually have to have material for that to work.
Mm-hmm. That is very true, but it would be funny. I can't wait to see if she actually live streams. I don't think she will. I think if she were to live stream, she'd be turning the comments off real quick.
I hope she has one of those fucking obnoxious bloody things that does text to chat fucking when someone, does a super chat and it'll read out its comments and then just spam her with nonsense. And then she can't get a word in edgeways.
Well, that would be nice if she couldn't get a word in edgewise. We wouldn't have to listen to her. But yeah,
Oh, did you hear though in the new Captain Marvel movie they're keeping Brie Larson as Captain Flatass, but they're giving her a sidekick, and she's going to have a similar trait. She's going to have no ass too. They're going to call her Sergeant Saggy ass.
see, I think they should go the complete opposite run with that and just give her all ass. That way she could be, Lieutenant Lard ass or half ass,
Yeah, one of those Sheilas that looks like they're permanently attached to a dining room table because their ass comes out like a fucking shelf.
Hell yeah. I have still not seen that Captain Marvel movie. I never had any intention of watching it in the first place. And I was like, at some point I should probably watch it just to see how awful it is. I mean, Endgame was bad enough. But
it was fucking thin as a story. It was obvious just a fucking cash grab. All this kind of stuff, and they're basically going to retcon the damn thing anyways because no one liked how bloody Samuel Jackson or how bloody Nick Fury got his eye taken out and all this kind of shit. So, yeah, it's not really worth seeing it. It really doesn't have any effect on Endgame or anything like that. That was just a marketing ploy to sucker us all in so they can get a couple of $1 billion real quick out of us. Yeah, we fell for it. They got us.
Well, I mean, like a little bit in Endgame. That's what I've seen. I saw that movie once because that was god awful. But it was pretty humorous when Thanos did knock her the fuck out. Because my comment on this was back on World Class Bullshitters was what I wanted to see was Thanos knock her out, and then Rogue comes up and takes her powers. That would be perfect. Relaunch with the X-Men, because that's what I thought would happen with the MCU. As soon as the MCU failed, they'd do the exact same thing that Marvel Comics did back in the 90s, which was they relaunched everything with X-Men, Jim Lee's X-Men, and Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man. So now they own X-Men, and Sony still owns most of Spider-Man. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But after watching Endgame, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of Infinity War in the first place. I felt that they could have done more if they did more story and maybe less CGI. But then by the time we got to Endgame, I didn't care for it. Doctor Strange, they could have done a lot more with that. The comic itself was a really good movie, was a good read. And it just was like they basically just kind of neutered it just to get him into, the next coming up movies, which was Endgame and that. So I'm like, all right, and Infinity War. So it just felt like they just played him down where they could have done a lot more with him. Same with this little quick, what was it, 30 seconds or whatever it was in the last Thor movie, Ragnarok. But yeah, overall, those movies were okay. All right, whatever. But yeah, for a payoff after 10 years of buildup, I felt robbed. I mean, a lot of people loved it. I personally didn't. The most fun I had with it was with Jez. They had Tom from Midnight's Edge on, and the guys were all in there talking about time travel. And I had my mic muted. I had left and went out and smoked and came back, and they're talking about it. And I just typed in the chat on Discord, not in YouTube land, but on Discord. And I was like, the funny thing, because like they were getting like debating the fuck out of time travel. So in Discord, I go in there and I type, but time travel doesn't exist, LOL. And Tom read it, he's like, yeah, I know time travel doesn't exist, Adam, or he said Frankenclan. And I'm like, well, I'm not picking on you, dude. I'm laughing because I was laughing, dude. I couldn't quit laughing listening to these guys geek out over time travel, and they're all arguing over it. I don't know. It just was fucking funny. And I even got back online and told Tom, I'm like, Tom, look, man, I'm not ripping on you, dude. I'm just saying it was just really good to listen to the nerd off going off about time travel, dude. It was just great to listen to you guys just go at it with your opinions on something that doesn't fucking exist. This was great. Like that was the whole fun of that whole episode, was just that little bit right there with them just going at it. Here's Tom's point, here's Jez's point, here's Cub's point. I think Nerd said a couple things, you know, and it was just literally one of those. It was a geek off, man, and it was great. It was just refreshing to have with everything going on. But yeah, it was fucking epic, man. It was a whole lot of fun to listen to.
Well, it is interesting because, like, the theoretical sciences and stuff like that are really fun like that because, like, you can use critical thinking and normal logic, what we know of in our own minds and whatnot, to try and think this through. And if you do think about things like time travel hard enough, for long enough, you come to the conclusion that, yeah, no matter what happens, it's an impossibility anyways. It just gets so convoluted and all this kind of shit, and it's sort of kind of like, you know, the answering the question of how consciousness gets created. But yeah, fucking oh fuck, there was something about fucking bloody flat ass I was going to say there. Oh, never mind.
Flat asses.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. No, yeah. Fucking. I was trying to perpetuate the bullshit story that fucking flat ass gets fucking taken out in the first 30 seconds, like just to piss off a lot of, like, mainly to piss the feminazis off, because they were like, you know, mainly like, yeah, why don't you just like this baby? You just ain't been last year, so show it us to it. It's like, yeah, no, like the script says, fucking, she gets taken out in the first fucking 30 seconds like a piece of shit bitch. You know, she drops like a sack of shit. Fucking Thanos basically picks her up with two fingers and flicks her, and then she goes flying off into the distance like bloody Wile E. Coyote after one of his traps failed or something like that. And it's like, and that's the last you fucking see of her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of right too, because, you know, like there were some points where I enjoyed, and it's not very often that this happens, but there were a couple of bits where I did rewind it because, you know, I had to, you know, watch it again. It was mainly when Scarlet Witch chucked a willow. You killed my piece of poon. You're fucked now, son. Because yeah, when you get that realization, and it's like, oh yeah, he did kill her fucking boyfriend, and oh yeah, we know what happens when really powerful witches miss their piece of poon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's gonna go willow on his ass. Yeah. But then yeah, they didn't let that play through, and then there was the whole part where, like, you saw the I'm Iron Man fucking comment coming, and like I actually even thought about it in my head, like, you know, just like in an Australian version where it's like not the way he said it, it'd be like more like a yeah, I'm Iron Man, can't fuck you, kind of thing. But that was sort of like, yep, that was a perfect sort of thing like that. And then, but when Captain Marvel came in, he's basically just thrown her to one side, like, fuck off. And she's come back again, being really, really ineffective. And then he grabs the Power Stone, and he's just like, fuck off. I'm like, yes.
Damn mosquito that won't leave you alone.
And that was the bit I rewound and watched the most.
Put it on a loop. Well, that was okay. So the main argument, and this is what was so funny about it, was, and I understood what Tom was saying, and he was trying to talk, and then, you know, he was kind of, I don't want to say getting attacked, but being talked over. So, you know, and everybody was having their comments, but he's like, the whole point is that is what always was meant to happen, was that, you know, Captain America goes back to the past, and like, but he couldn't do that because of blah 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 blah. And he's like, but no, if this is how you do it, it was always meant to be. So when he was missing during all those time frames when he was on ice, you assumed he was on ice basically. And this is what I took from it, was, you know, oh, he's on ice, they found him on ice, he's been away, you know, for 30 40 years, whatever it was. But no, he'd actually went back in time. And I told Tom, I'm like, look, man, I understand what you're saying. It's just, and once again, I just love the fact that there was the nerd off, if you will, over time travel. And, you know, just to have a bunch of guys get together and shoot the shit about it was really good. And a lot of fun was had.
Well, it kind of sounded like he wasn't really taking into consideration that even though it is time travel, it doesn't stop. It's still linear. So while you're still traveling in time, you're still aging at your normal rate. It just he was allowed to go back in time and sort of do things over again because of his slow fucking metabolism and shit like that. So he could live 2 lifetimes and basically live the 2 sort of sets of dates fucking over twice because he can simply live that long. But time didn't stop. It's still going for everybody. It's like running on a bloody treadmill and then jumping on the treadmill next to it. You know, you're still moving at the same rate of knots. You're just doing it in a different sort of timeline.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, man, it was literally just a nerd off, and it was pretty epic. And that was, I want to say about 2 weeks ago. It was just so much fun. And, you know, something that it wasn't planned because Tom, he ended up showing up later on we'd already started the stream, and he showed up and was able to jump in for a bit. And, you know, like I said, it was just pretty funny. And just the thought of time travel and listening to the nerd off with everybody with, well, wouldn't this happen? Or wouldn't this happen? Or wouldn't this happen? Wouldn't this happen? You know, it just, I don't know. It was just fucking hilarious. You know, and I just, you know, like literally I wasn't steering the pod. I wasn't being a dick. I was just like, you know, listening to him, and I'm just typing him, but time travel doesn't exist, you know, LOL. And that's all I wrote. And I put it in Discord. I didn't put it on YouTube. That way, you know, that was just for those of us in the Discord that could read it. And like Tom reads it on air. And I'm like, dude, it wasn't meant to be read on air. That's why I didn't put it on YouTube.
Technically, time travel does exist. See, if I flew from Sydney to LA, technically I'd be arriving last night.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Just like you're in the future right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just literally that whole, like I said, because I mean they went into depth. I mean, you got, you know, fucking Jez Oldfield and Cub, and I mean those guys were just like detailing, getting, you know, just into, well, from this movie or from that, and no, that wouldn't work because of the, and I, like I said, dude, it was just and I couldn't help but laugh, Artie, the whole time. I'm like pissing myself with laughter because it was so funny.
I'm surprised Cub didn't fucking carry on with some fucking Illuminati conspiracy about the evil shadow reptilian alien lizards that fucking got, you know, a secret DeLorean time machine hidden in Area 53 or some fucking bullshit like that.
Well, no, Tom was on, you know,
manipulators.
Tom from Midnight Edge is on, so Cub was not tinfoil hat Cub at all. He was really kind of like old school Cub where you could have fun, you know, and that was the thing. It felt like the old Digital Pollution days, you know, everybody was on there, everybody was having fun, everybody was laughing and, you know, just having a blast. And we'll see. I'm thinking Wednesday we're having a stream, but I don't know. Well, I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully we have one. I know there's not one marked up yet. I think he's got his movie for Saturday picked out. Haven't heard from Jezer yet. A couple days, but, you know, we'll see what happens there. But, you know, it just literally was, you know, since we started talking about movies and stuff, it just was one of those things that it still brings a smile to my face, you know, just the fact that to listen to them have that nerd off, you know, it was like, okay, this is, you know, this is some good shit right here. Well, Back to the Future, this happened and this happened. Well, technically this was the idea, you know. You got Tom sitting there trying to talk and he couldn't get a word in edgewise, and then finally he did. And the fact that my little, you know, jokey comment that was put in there, he actually read it. I mean, I literally was just like, yo, dude, that wasn't like an attack on you or, you know, it was just meant because this shit's making me laugh, you know. By all means, don't take it the wrong, because I've only dealt with Tom a couple times. It was basically with Doomcock on Doomcock's channel. And then the couple times he's come on Midnight's Edge has showed up and, you know, that Tom's jumped on Jez's stream. Because then I've actually, you know, talked with him like what I'm doing with you now. I mean, I've been in his chats and stuff, but I've never had one-on-one time with him and, you know, or anything like that. So, you know, he doesn't know my style of humor or anything, you know, far from it. So that's the thing. You could read that and be like, oh, this guy's an asshole. Well, yeah, I'm an asshole, but it wasn't an asshole in that moment because that shit was funny. So, and, you know, he understood it. And I told him, I understand what you're trying to say. And I actually appreciated the fact that he explained it when he got the chance.
Well, Here's a few some things about Back to the Future that like I find funny that no one's noticed, but fucking it's there, it's blatant. It's like like okay, there's the old arguments that you were pissed off past 2015 and we didn't get the hoverboard, but we kind of did get a hoverboard, which was just a glorified bloody Segway. But then they had the one that did actually slide on superconductors and copper plates and actually did hover and all this, but it was ridiculously impractical and all this kind of stuff. And whilst everyone was sucking about their hoverboards and stuff like that, I'm sitting here going, hang on a minute. I'd rather the sleep-inducing alpha rhythm generator, actually, because my sleeping patterns are shit. Yeah, I'd rather one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out we do have a really B-grade fucking shitty version of that. Just ask fucking Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest plot hole in part 3 is that they've got to go through all that bullshit to get the DeLorean moving, right? Why not use the fuel line, the carburetor, the fuel, out of the DeLorean that the Doc got there in the first place, that's sitting in the mine that they dug out to go back the second time? There's still a perfectly functioning fucking DeLorean sitting there with all the parts except for the electrics, because just assuming the electrics got fried in the lightning strike.
Right.
But the mechanical shit that you need is still there. You got one with perfectly working electrics. You got one with perfectly working mechanics. Why didn't they just do that? And they could have still rolled it on tires instead of having to do that silly bloody train bullshit.
But they wanted the train bullshit. That was the whole point. We're going to use that train.
But yeah, no one's picked up on that. There were 2 DeLoreans in 1885, and the 2 of them combined would have made one functioning one.
This is what happens when you actually put logic into movies and start tearing their shit down. Imagine Hollywood. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you just never got that.
Well, you know as well as I do. They didn't think outside the box. Here's the script. They did their shit. They got it done. Leave it to us to get older and then go, wasn't there 2 of those machines sitting there? So you couldn't just, cannibalize them to make one?
Shh.
Mm-hmm. We hope nobody figures this one out. Come on, Marty.
It's kind of like they were really intellectual right at the beginning, and then they're like, yeah, our IQ points are just running out. Fuck it, push it with a train.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, there is another plot hole there too. It's when they're talking about getting some more petrol. Mercedes-Benz already had an internal combustion engine petrol-powered car in 1885. And you could actually buy petrol from like fucking pharmacies and shit like that. They just didn't know what they were going to use it for yet. It was an actual byproduct of the oil refining process that they thought was actually a nuisance product at the time. So yeah, I really got to stop over analysing shit, don't I?
Now,
this makes it more fun.
Well, Bobby B, you're wanting to know where Dodge is. Well, Mad Dodge is at home, washing his tights.
Nah, he's out joining the boog. He's gonna get himself a G-Man.
He decided to go 100% mega. Make America great again. He's gonna hate me for that, but I can't help it. Oh shit.
I don't know, for some reason I just got this image of him in his new car. He's out there with his little bloody gingham shirt tied around his top and his fucking Daisy Dukes, reclined on the bonnet while Rebel Mama takes photos of him.
I'm thinking of Joe Dirt. Joe Dirt style.
Yeah.
Definitely. Hells yeah. As they make another baby in the back seat. Hells to the yeah.
Are you insinuating that Dodge has fantasies about boinking his sister?
No, but you know, I'm your sister. I'm your sister. I'm your sister.
And I'm my own grandpa. Yeah. There's Bobby B in the chat. Oh no, did the war start already? That sucks. Good thing my state is great. Will kill any of the fools who dare revolt in our vicinity.
Must be
Yeah,
Canada.
just stand on your roof with an AR-15 and fly the South Korean flag. You'll be right.
Mm-hmm. South Korean flag, you know. Hell, throw up a Middle Eastern flag with a Chinese flag and a Japan flag. You'll be all right.
Fucking. But to tell you the truth, though, like with this fucking shit in Victoria, where they got the lockdowns and stuff like that, there's a whole bunch of like these housing commission blocks of flats that that are like currently just under a flat out lockdown. They basically did this on Saturday night and didn't bother seeing about giving them any food until Monday evening.
Oh yeah, the towers. Peabody talked about this, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and like it's a little different from the last time where we've got people in 5-star hotels under quarantine looking about the conditions there. Like these poor people are just stuck in their own homes and shit like that and didn't get any time to prepare and all this. And you do have people saying, "Oh, but they're all just fucking immigrants and all this kind of shit." But then they go and interview a couple of. I'm sure these guys were Somalis, but like they were there, like talking nice and calm, and weren't pointing blame. They were just sort of like, "Wouldn't it be better if we could do?" And we wouldn't have minded some warning, like, my job is at risk and all this. Very valid, calm and collected points and stuff like that. And it was just that attitude of like, yeah, you're the immigrants we want here. The ones that like actually want to assimilate and fucking do what normally happens out here. And also too, they didn't even have an accent. All right, they spoke fluent fucking English. And that's the kind of people we want out here, right? And I sort of feel sorry for those guys there because, well, they're trying and they didn't ask for this, and fucking they're trying to do the right thing. But then you got like, where everybody else is having a cry with mainly the rest of them in the places where they are immigrants that come over here for the welfare and aren't making a go of it, probably don't even speak the language and shit. However, it must say that the way they're going about it doesn't quite smell right. It's kind of one of those things where I'm watching the alarm board, waiting for things to light up because, like, for some reason we get the feeling it's getting that bloody close where shit's going to go wrong, but it doesn't quite seem to get quite there. You know what I mean? Really looks wrong, but I don't know why.
Well, that's like here, like we were talking earlier, where they're all babbling about opening the schools, and I'm like, the fucking school year's over for one. Two, you haven't even dealt with the fucking race war. Then you're always talking about the pandemic. Oh, numbers are up, numbers are up, numbers are up, but I don't see more people dying. I don't see motherfuckers just dropping dead in the streets. So it's like, all right, but let's focus on schools because you want the parents to think that their kids are going to be going to school in August.
Well, it's more the point. The parents have got fed up with their fucking kids because, let's face it, boys and girls, I don't give a shit who you think you are or what you fucking say. A kid's an afterthought. When you finally have the bastards, you realise how much fucking work they are and you can't wait to get rid of little cunts. I mean, how many times do you hear parents going, "Can't wait till school holidays are over"? Like, that's a fucking common thing. And then there's the complaints, "Oh, I've got to go here pick up little brats from schools." Like, did you think about this before you fucking buddy started sucking dick, you bitch?
No,
But
I didn't.
It was really funny though at the beginning of this. They're like, "Oh, only essential workers can still go to work," and someone pointed at teachers and said that does not include you, and they're all like, "But we're important." No, you're not. The world can function quite well without you. That's how little importance you fuckwits are. oh, and then like fucking 3 months go past, and they're like, oh yeah, you cunts are gonna have to go back to work now, and they just realise, oh, we're getting a fucking massive paid holiday. This is better than what Greta Thunder cunt could ever fucking do for us. Oh no, we got to think about the kids. The kids, we got to think of the children. No, fuck you, cunts. You can go and earn your pay now.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, where we're at today, with being able to talk on Discord and everything else, it's the perfect time that kids could do their school.
Hmm. Well, that's another demographic that fucking that's got it coming too. That's another one where they arbitrarily say there's no excuse to abuse or anything like that, and that's fucking school teachers. And when you have kids who come out of fucking 12 years of schooling and they're still fucking illiterate, if I was a parent, I'd be bloody pissed off at the lack of fucking service too. And then the teachers are as dumb as a box of fucking rocks. And then they go and do snide shit like scream about how their conditions are crap and they want, better pay and all this because, like, yes, as far as they're concerned, they work in like schools in the Bronx and shit like that where, we need metal detectors and stuff. That's if you ask them. But anyway, bloody the the teachers just flat out don't do their job properly, and they go and rort the system after screaming for a fucking raise by saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to have a day off on a Friday, and not worry about fucking all the truanting children and things like that." And yeah, just let that slide, and we'll get a free public holiday out of it. Yeah, and then we'll go and ask for another raise. Well, this has turned into a fucking disaster. Um, yeah, Adam, you want to try and get back on? We'll try and get you back on. If not, I'll give it a couple more minutes and I'll crap on for a little bit longer. But since we're looking at about an hour now, I might think about wrapping this up. If I can think of a joke to take up the next 3 minutes, unless Adam comes back. No, I can't really think of a joke. But well, yeah, well, with the teachers though, it got to a stage recently where they've had to actually come out on the radio and say, "Oh, you shouldn't abuse teachers." It's like, well, that just means we should. And then, yeah, well, I think we might leave that there because I'm about to go on a rant about fucking nurses, which I think I'll lose every bastard's respect over. So, yeah, thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and yeah. Look at doing a bit more random shit later on and hopefully be a bit more funny. Anyway, boys and girls, baby.